hamstring injury update. Last year, if you were subscribed to me on YouTube, you'll know that I went to the physio with a hamstring injury from running. I set myself a challenge of running 100k last May during lockdown. I loved it, but then my hamstring became injured. I didn't know what it was, but it was like pulling on the back of my knee, so I thought it was more of like a knee injury. I then went to the physio after a few months. I was putting it off for ages thinking it would get better. It didn't. Went to the physio and it was something called hamstring tendinopathy, and basically my hamstring was that tight that it was pulling on the back of my knee, and I just needed to do some simple stretching. He did some massaging stuff with it and then dry needled it. So to be fair, like it did work. It went, I was able to run again. I was able to do all the things that I wanted to do in the gym, and I had absolutely no problems whatsoever with my hamstring for quite a while. But this is when it gets quite frustrating. Back in February, I filmed I think it was like a day in the life on a rest day. And I filmed a entire stretching routine for your hamstrings because that's what I would usually do. I've done them loads before. The difference is with this one, I hadn't warmed up well enough to do these types of stretching. So the day after, the inside of my left leg really hurt. I thought it was my hamstring. I think it's probably my adductor. Left it for like a few days. It did go. A little bit uncomfortable, but I haven't really had any pain since. And then in May, I must have done something else and it triggered it again. It was quite painful this time. I was struggling to walk, and it was quite similar to the hamstring tendinopathy injury where it was pulling on the back of my knee. Left it, didn't do any leg exercises, just kept it easy, didn't do any running, didn't do anything. And then it went, and then last week it came back, but on both legs, so like both of my adductors. So I don't know if it is a hamstring related injury. I don't know if it's my adductors. The moral of the story is I have very tight hamstrings, and it's been a year now since I last went to the physio, and I'm having similar problems in a similar area, and it's the same kind of pain. So I'm going to the physio today to hopefully sort it out. It's a different physio. He seems really good. It's just around the corner from me, and I'm just hoping to get some answers so that I can start setting new goals. And hopefully it would be nice to start running again. It's probably worth mentioning as well that there's kind of more to it. So like my hips, when this triggered off last week, it was more of my left leg again, but my hip hurt. And I keep getting a bit of a shooting pain in my back if I do certain exercises. So at the minute I'm not really squatting because it kind of triggers it. Like it's not painful and it's not like a lasting pain. It just sometimes it just aches a little bit, like not a shooting pain. It's just a little dull ache around like the bottom of my trap. So I'm thinking that there's more to having tight hamstrings. I think there's some kind of weakness or my posture. I just think there's more to it. Let's go and see what this injury is about. That was interesting. I think we finally got to the bottom of why I keep getting so many different niggles. So last year it was my collarbone, my shoulder, my hamstrings, my hips, my back. All of these niggles have come from an imbalance caused by a slight curve in my spine. It sounds a lot worse than it is, but it's basically just a slight curve. So when I stand, I basically stand and I lean onto like my left side. And it was very obvious when like he took the pictures. I didn't get the pictures from him. I took these ones. You can't really see it. It's that slight, but it's not scoliosis. It's nothing serious because it can be corrected. It's not like I'm permanently curved. I can correct it. So now I'm really conscious of it. But now it's a case of basically working on my core, doing different exercises to help kind of adjust the curve in it. So when I'm like sat down, I've got to make sure that my back's like firmly on like a chair. I'll show you in like another video of exactly what I've got to do, but no running for me, no proper weightlifting. I can't use a barbell. Can use a dumbbell. I'm allowed to swim, I'm allowed to cycle and do mobility. So yeah, going back in 2 weeks, and I think I'm just gonna go into a block now for a few months of swimming, cycling, mobility, and just some slight complementary strength training towards those things. So yeah. I think my biggest takeaway from this whole situation is you know your body better than anyone else. So if you think you should have a second opinion on something, go and get that second opinion. Because when I went last year, the physio, he basically did dry needling on my hamstring, said it was how tight my hamstrings were, and didn't really look at anything else. And I even got him to look at my shoulder as well. So if he would have seen that I had a slight curve in my spine last year, I wouldn't be having any more of these problems now. So even though it's extra money and stuff like that, it's so worth getting that second opinion and feeling like a lot better than you originally did. So even though I can't run, I can't do a lot of things that I enjoy doing, like weightlifting, I feel so much better to finally get answers and to see that even though it's not like a major issue, it could be a major issue in the future. So just want to make sure everything's right, and I am so glad I booked that appointment. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm very surprised at the answers that I got from it. I definitely wasn't expecting it to be a curve or a slight curve in my spine, but we've got answers. I finally got down to the root cause of all my niggles and my injuries, and it's time to get working on correcting that and setting new goals and going into a new block, which is really, really exciting. So lots of swimming, lots of cycling, mobility, some slight strength work, and yeah, just something different to bring to the channel, I suppose. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like. If you're new, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.